Hello lovely Sagittarius, February 2023, what's in store for you? Okay, going to look at love life, going to look at career, destiny, we're going to look at anything that you need to know in terms of channeled messages, any old thing that comes up. I'm going to take 2 cards first, which are going to tell me what energy you're kind of playing with, what you're bringing into. I suppose you could call this a signifier. Oh, that's nice. Okay. We start off with the 10 of Swords. You are finding, and I think this has happened for Sagittarians over the last, 2-3 months at least, but for some of you, year even. I think there's been a cleaning up of house, in that kind of, if you actually properly cleaned your house and you decluttered everything properly, and you actually went into the back of those drawers that you never want to touch. And, in the kitchen, you actually got all the tins and everything out the cupboard and check the dates and all that boring stuff that people do on Clean Talk and all that, that sort of, here's how I batch cook for the next 3,000 years and label it all up. Obviously, as a Sagittarian, you're never going to get too into that vibe, but you've been more into that vibe than normal. And now it's like the emotional housekeeping aspect. So I think you can expect, and I feel like it's already happening, for skeletons to be coming out of the cupboard, to be looked at and to be examined and to be either given to the charity shop or kept, cleaned up and labelled and kept, or burnt, that kind of thing. So this could be, it's going to come up in really weird ways that you can't necessarily put your finger on. It can be exes, and that doesn't necessarily mean them actually showing up at your door or anything like that, although it could do. Exes in terms of the effect that they had on you, the story of yours that they still hold. In other words, the part they play. Let's say your life is a script and your ex is holding quite a few words in that script. They're quite a big character in it. The focus is on them quite a lot. And you might be thinking now it's time to do what editors do and get out the big red pen, metaphorically, start scratching out some lines. They may or may not want that. You may or not even have any kind of contact with them anymore. It doesn't really matter what they want. Just looking for my hand cream. It matters what you want and how you want to clean house. And in work situations as well, anybody that's kind of outstayed their welcome in terms of what they can contribute to the work situation, and quite a lot of Sagittarians, because you're mutable and you're also ruled by Jupiter, either have 2 jobs, like a side hustle and a job, or you're self-employed, you're entrepreneurial, or you're in a kind of job where there's usually a lot of creative freedom. This is unless you're in the other jobs that we all do when we just need the money. That's like you do that for a bit. But if you could pick and choose, it's like the jobs with the creativity and the freedom. If there's someone that's kind of squishing your vibe, that's kind of, and I'm getting a kind of image, which is really weird, and it must be channeled, of, when siblings fight when you're young and one of them like sits on the other one's head or something, that just like, when it gets really out of hand and you're all zipping each other into sleeping bags and your mum's gone to the shop and no one's looking, and like there's a couple of brothers or something, or even sisters. Me and my sister, she flushed my goldfish down the toilet. I'm just going to say, when it gets like that and one of them's like, yeah, I'm going to fart on your head, rah, that kind of energy. I feel like there's been someone in your vicinity and I felt this for a while for you, Saggy, and it's the weirdest feeling, but Sagittarians do attract this, and you will know this because you're quite magnetic as a sign, because people who genuinely don't give a shit, which Sagittarians don't, and I don't mean that in a you're reckless and you never think about anybody else. I mean that in terms of, with Jupiter, it's almost the fool energy. So you go into things fairly optimistically, and if they don't work out, you tend, with Sagittarians, they tend to go, and what about this? Or it probably meant that, or it wasn't for me. They don't have that chagrin that you get with other signs. Scorpio. Aquarius. you get this sort of happy-go-lucky, it seems like I don't care, I've got no cares in the world. And if people don't look any closer than that, they feel really put out. And you get people who are more controlly and yet getting worse results, thinking, and that can be in the romantic sphere or it can be in the work-life sphere, it doesn't matter. And they're thinking, who is this person who just trips about with no planning, seemingly, because of course there is, but they can't see it, and they haven't got their 5-year plan, and they're not doing this and they're not doing that, and yet they win and I lose. I must take them down. They must be taken down a peg or two. This energy, which may have even come to you in childhood through mentors, teachers, parents, siblings, however it comes, it's your story, and people wander in and out as characters all the time. And by the way, your story is a big theme for this month too. It's time for some redaction, I think they call it, some editorial control on your part, and a bit of observation and maybe cutting out about who's in and who's out at this point for you. Because Sagittarius is a very inclusive sign. A bit like Pisces, you include everything because you won't exclude anything because you don't think there are lines. And I totally understand this because I'm a Pisces and we're mutable too, and Virgo is very similar and they're mutable. There's a general acceptance of the income and the outcome and the income and the outcome, and somewhere along the line that this will even out or not, you know. But I feel like you're reaching a bridging point where you're required to make some cuts. If you're the editor, if you're the whatever they call plays, is it a producer? I'm not really good at that, but you know what I mean. Then it's your call, it's your say, and things could be vastly improved if you made cuts. Some people have pushed you too far. Some people have pushed you to a certain point that it's quite hard to push you to, and I feel like it's water eroding rock. So it could be earth signs, Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo, and it could be water signs, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, that are particularly affecting you. I don't know why, I just got this image. It's a lot of channeling for you today of water eroding rock. So this hasn't happened suddenly. This has happened over a period of a long time. And yeah, the referee's blowing the whistle. You're the referee. The whistle's in your mouth. So that's what the Ten of Swords is. And the Ten of Swords is also collective energy. It can be the collection of your family, your ancestors could come into this as well. There's ancestry, there's archetype, there's a feeling of how far does this go back? How long do we carry this? Am I the end of this line? You know, is this where the buck stops? Because the buck, in terms of, I have a very good friend of mine who's a shaman once said to me, and this really sticks with me actually, and she probably got it from somewhere else, but it doesn't matter, does it? Because anyway, she said to me, it's a successful outcome if you dish out less slaps than you received. And I know that sounds really awful, and I'm not saying to go around slapping anyone or any of that, because that's not my bag. But you get the gist of it. We're not perfect, and we all think, for example, we never want to turn into our parents, most usually. And then horrifically, we start reaching middle age and look in the mirror. Hello, mum, you know, or dad, or granny, or whoever it is. But there is a process, there is a dialectic going on where we are dishing out less than we received, and that is an improvement. And at some point, this produces a buck that must stop. And I feel like in February, which the sun moves into Pisces about the 19th or the 20th, we move into, and is there a moon in February? Well, there will be, Gemma, yes. Let me just see, there we go, moon diary. I feel like there'll be a Pisces moon, and I feel like that is particularly good for this. Right, let's have a quick look. Yeah, new moon in Pisces on the 20th, and Venus enters Aries, nice. So use that energy around the 20th to expunge. Let's It's a nice way of saying get rid. To squeeze out, to cut out, to edit out, however you want to put it, doesn't matter. People who are overstaying their welcome in terms of standing on your porch. Ka-ching, shut the door. So 10 of Swords, of course, is when you reach the epoch or the apex, the top of it. And you don't think anything actually, because it's more powerful than thinking. But there's a feeling of completion. The 1, the 0 becomes the 1, and the 1 then starts again with the Ace of Swords, the new idea. So expect, I always want to say to put the fanny back in Epiphany. Now I said it. Expect epiphanies when you get past February. So let's say March, April, whenever it is, because the 10 of Swords might not, it's not going to go, oh, it's February the 28th, that's it now. But whenever this is done, this process is done, expect the epiphanies then to start coming. In the same way that if you prune a bush, expect the flowers to come in spring. Okay? Then we get the 3 of Cups. And again, this is your tribe, your circle, your people, whatever you want to call it, your gang. That's what we used to call it at school. Will you be in my gang? Big or small, eclectic, online or IRL, as the kids say, doesn't matter. It's time to gather the troops, whoever they are. Because for some of you, there's something coming in that's collaborative. Could be with a group of people, could be with a new company, could be in your love life that you meet somebody's friends, family, they meet your friends, family. There's this whole kind of, it takes a village, which again makes me feel slightly nauseous when people say it, just because it's a bit of a tea towel moment. But there's something in it. You can call it a tribe, you can call it a village, you can call it whatever you like. It does. And you're going to find that you've got one, but also you're going to find you're the curator of your own village. Oof, that was a lot for 2 cards, wasn't it? Okay. Shall we look at your love life? Yes. Let's have a looky-see, please. Woof. There's one. All popped out in one go, as the actress said to the bishop. Put those there. Put them there. Ooh. So for your love life, you get the Queen of Wands, which of course is you. Fire sign that you are, in charge that you will be. Yoda I am speaking like. Queen of Wands, especially in this deck actually, is such a gorgeous energy. There's a feeling of power, of divaship, of Kundalini energy, and of control, but not control in a controlling way. Control in a redirecting of fire kind of a way. Yes, this is nice. It's the reinvention of yourself somewhat, but it's not new. So the reinvention comes from the fact that you always had this in you anyway. It's your fire, it's your primordial element as a Sagittarian, but it's whatever that is, it's woof, it's doing that. It's just, yeah, you know what I'm saying. Now, this means, of course, passion, sexuality, attraction. Someone could be a few people could be very attracted to you with this energy as well. This is the magnetic energy of woohoo, who's that? Also, you could be very attracted to someone else, each other. It's good energy, good attraction energy, okay? But also, she is the diva. She makes her demands and they are met. The Queen of Wands is somebody who doesn't suffer fools gladly. So you may be, if you are already in a connection with somebody, you may find yourself in a position where you have to make that clear. I don't think it matters which relationship it is in your life, actually. You're going to be doing that with everybody, and it's also going to turn up in your love life. If you are single and you're meeting somebody, you may have to very quickly establish ground rules with that person. It could be quite a hot connection and one with a lot of chemistry, and those can sometimes bowl you over a bit and you miss the bit where you establish the boundaries about what you want, who you are, what you know, your ideals, your deal breakers, all that kind of thing. But there's a lot of support for you if you're having difficulty with someone in particular, or if you are coming into a new relationship. And actually, even if you're in the middle of a breakup, there's a lot of support for you, provided you can trust yourself that you know who you are and what you want. Okay? And then we have the Knight of Pentacles. This is a very calming energy, very, very opposite to the Queen of Wands, and very balancing. It's like a counterbalance. So the Knight of Pentacles is also here to remind you that over the past few, maybe years, definitely months, you've been doing that boring housekeeping stuff. You've been doing some emotional housekeeping. You've been building blocks. I don't know what that noise was, by the way. Something just sang. I think it's the washing machine. You've been building blocks. You've been gradually getting towards something, okay? Rather than, you know, as mutable signs, sometimes we really want things to be instant, or we fear that we're going to lose interest, especially you being a fire sign. But this could be earth sign people in your life, Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo as well. They came up earlier. Remember the water and the rock? But this is just telling you that you're in it for the long game, and you've been in it for quite a while, okay? Even if you're single, this is telling you that the next person that you meet is not an accident, and you've been coming to meet them for a while, or the meeting has been building for a while. Okay, let's have a couple more cards for the love life. Obstacles in love life, let's have a couple of those. No. Oh my God. Oh. I'm going to take another one in a minute because this is really interesting. Look, for obstacles in love life, you get the Page of Cups and the Knight of Cups. Now, as an obstacle, what happens here is the page, of course, starts off as the junior. He hasn't got a horse like this guy. He hasn't got the flowers. And he's idealistic. He's got the feels. He's got the love. He's got that kind of woo feeling. And in the Rider-Waite, he's the one stumbling about with the fish in the cup. So there's somebody around who has the feels, and this is about emotional maturity and a waking up, and the knowledge that they need to arrive somehow with something. And I'm going to take a third card on this in a minute because I'm interested in how this kind of shows up in your life. I would say that anybody who can't make the transition from Page to Knight of Cups may be shown the door, because that's the era that you're in. You know, we said about the tribe, the circle, the village, whatever you want to call it, the gang. Let's call it the gang. You may decide that they don't get a place at the table, really. It's like, I don't think so. Because the Queen of Wands is not going to respond to the Page of Cups. She's going to want him to bring it, and bring it big. And there may be an issue. Should we take that third card? There may be an issue just about emotional maturity with someone that you're dealing with. Now, Sagittarians have a lot of emotional maturity, and just because you don't come across as sensible doesn't mean you don't have emotional maturity. It's not the same thing. You don't want someone to be sensible, but you do want them to be emotionally mature, because if they're not, how can you feel safe with them? Eight of Wands in reverse comes up with this. Eight of Wands in reverse is that this conversation hasn't happened properly yet. It could be that someone hasn't spoken up, that they haven't, you know, with the Knight of Cups, this person is bringing it. We've got the picnic hamper, we've got a bottle of wine, we've got what I always fantasize is balsamic vinegar, like mixed with olive oil, tiger bread. We've got a hand-penned letter with a wax seal, a beautiful horse, decent flowers that don't smell like pee and they're from the garage. You know, this person has showed up. And I don't know anybody who doesn't want this to happen. And I don't mean it in a kind of Hallmark, cheesy way. And it doesn't have to be exactly like this. But what's the point if someone can't show up for you and be present? Okay? But this shows there's been a lack of communication. So for some of you, you literally may not have heard from somebody. From others of you, you may not have heard the right words from somebody. And for others of you, there's a conversation still to be had with somebody. This may also show up in your work life in that you kind of expect to be courted by the right people if they want to work with you. And that's not arrogant. Think Queen of Wands. Okay, let's have a look at some outcomes. If this is your story, by the way, there will be an extended reading, as there is every month. In the extended reading, I take the cards from this reading and we do a load more channeling, and we dig and we ask what's going on, how do they feel about you, can we improve this situation, and we look a bit further at the shadow side, get our hands dirty, that kind of thing. Okay, I love this. Outcome. I've got, oh, I love this Six of Swords. Let's just look at that for a minute. So beautiful. We've got the Six of Swords, which is the energy of what's staying in this boat and what do I need to jettison. Jettison is actually going to be the word for you. Got cards flying all over the place. Because a boat will sink if it's got too much in it. And those are the decisions you have to make. With the Six of Swords, of course, it's swords. So there's some strife, maybe around communication, maybe around air signs, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. But in general, Six of Swords is moving away from the storm, getting in the boat, getting rescued, getting to the other side of something. You always, and they kind of show you here, in the Rider-Waite, the Six Swords are still in the boat. You take, you know, everywhere you go, there you are, isn't it? They say you take your troubles with you in a way, but you still get in the boat because you're still moving along, and it shows you because the birds are still there, and the birds represent swords. You've got 6 birds, and those are the 6 swords. Such a gorgeous deck, this Lightseer's Tarot. I never get bored of it. And then, Temperance. This is you, Sagittarius. This is your card, because you are the winner. You come first. It's about you. And when you get the Queen of Wands, it always is about you, okay? Has to be about you. It's not even something you can control. It doesn't matter if you think you're being egotistical. It is about you. I'm just finding you an oracle card. And I like that. It's also when you get when you're doing a star sign reading and the person's star sign card shows up, that's always good. Always good. Okay. Yes. I might take a couple actually. Ooh. That's the obstacle. And where's the outcome, please? Okay. So your kind of general oracle card is go the distance. That's your Knight of Pentacles. Something is going the distance. The good news is you've already covered an awful lot of distance before we even started. So you've been doing this for ages, okay? You've been putting in this work for a while. The obstacle is never-ending story. This is about being caught up in the old script of your life. It's very addictive. It's hard to move away from. you're already doing it, but of course you can always be pulled back into it. And it's very important, and you can see it just from the way this card looks, to avoid that if you can. And then the outcome is imagine, which is very, very Sagittarian. You can always use manifesting as a Sagittarian. You can always imagine it differently. So imagine the script. If you want to do it in terms of a movie, imagine the storyboard, imagine the film of how this is going to be different, and script your own part, okay? Oh, I love this. I'm going to go do the extended reading. If you want to join me there, the link is below in the description box. I really feel like you are moving towards something here, and you have been for a while, and there's been some difficult months, but it's going to be worth it. Thank you, Sagittarius. I'll see you soon. Namaste.